I'm starting a new life without you. Gregory's words cut through the clatter of silverware hanging above the white linen tables like a sudden drop in temperature. His champagne flute wavered midair, the toast to our daughter's success suspended on his lips. Around us, 50 guests, family, friends, Amelia's professors fell silent. Even the servers stopped in place, trays hovering, eyes darting between us. For a heartbeat, I swear you could feel the confusion ripple outward, forks settling onto plates, conversations dying mid-sentence, the hum of background music shrinking into stillness. I can smile about it now, but at that moment the air in that restaurant turned brittle, ready to shatter. Most people expected theatrics, tears, shouting, maybe even a collapsed-in-grief wife scene worthy of a soap opera. Instead, I met Gregory's gaze, lifted my chin, and said clearly enough for the whole of Augusta to hear, "Congratulations on your honesty." I stood, smoothed the folds of my blue dress, raised my glass, and added softly, "And congratulations to our daughter as well. This day still belongs to her." That voice, steady, unshaken, wasn't instinct. It was rehearsal. For months, I'd known this moment was coming. My name is Bianca Caldwell, 54 years old, wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, of Gregory Caldwell, entrepreneur, dreamer, opportunist, and the man who'd been at the center of my world for 28 years. We were there to celebrate our daughter, Amelia, bright in her black cap and radiant smile, still clueless that her father's announcement had just demolished the quiet life I'd so carefully built around us. From the edge of my vision, I saw Cassandra Wells, 20-something years younger, sitting near the flower arrangements, stiffen in her seat, pretending she hadn't heard though we all knew otherwise. Cassandra had been a regular in our home, asking about wine pairings, borrowing novels, once calling me Miss Bianca with the kind of politeness that precedes betrayal. I slipped a cream-colored envelope from my purse and placed it neatly beside Gregory's plate. He frowned. "What's this?" "Something for you to read later," I said evenly. Then I leaned over and kissed Amelia's cheek. "You make me proud, sweetheart. Always." Without another word, I turned, nodded to the stunned guests, and walked toward the restaurant doors. The hush behind me broke into frantic whispers as I pushed them open. Outside, the Augusta summer hit like a furnace, thick, unrelenting. But to me, it felt like the first real breath I'd taken in years. The door swung again, Gregory's voice, frantic now, echoing after me. "Bianca, what the hell is this? What have you done?" I didn't look back. I just kept walking into the sunlight, a small, private smile forming at the corner of my mouth. Inside that envelope was the start of his undoing, a plan I'd been quietly perfecting since winter. I had been the engine of our household from day one. Gregory called himself the visionary. I was the spreadsheet, his affectionate nickname for the woman who made his dreams financially survivable. He'd cycled through 3 start UPS, 2 reinventions, and at least one extraordinary midlife creative break during which he dabbled in handcrafted furniture. Each time, I maintained my role as a finance manager at Trevanta Corporation, a regional firm specializing in investment account analysis. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid reliably, and it gave Amelia stability when Gregory's experiments did not. I paid the mortgage. I saved for Amelia's tuition. I patched the leaks, literal and emotional. That's not martyrdom. It's pragmatic love. Or at least it was. When he announced he'd finally found his rhythm, managing accounts for small tech companies, I exhaled and told myself maybe this time he'd stay anchored. I had postponed my own dream of a women-focused financial consulting firm 3 times. After Amelia's graduation, I promised myself I'd finally start it. Life likes irony. 3 months before the graduation, I spotted oddities in our joint accounts. Tiny transfers, $300 here, $500 there, to an unfamiliar routing number. I've reconciled ledgers all my adult life. Inconsistencies are my second language. I could have confronted him right then, but experience with Gregory's creative accounting told me to gather evidence quietly. So I waited. 2 weeks later, a charge appeared, Maison Roche Jewelers, Atlanta. We hadn't exchanged gifts in years, not on that scale, and he'd just lectured Amelia about budgeting sensibly. Then dinners, white linen restaurants across Georgia, places I'd never heard him mention. I started pulling 6 months of statements, built color-coded spreadsheets, one for every hidden expenditure disguised as business development. At first, my heart was simply pragmatic. If he's gambling our security again, I'll have documentation. Then the betrayal showed itself plainly. A text from his unlocked phone one night while he showered. Cassandra, tomorrow's our day. Hard to believe it's finally happening. Gregory, after Amelia's graduation, my clean slate. Can't wait to wake up beside you without secrets. I stare at the message, the absurd domesticity of without secrets burning holes through me. That's when clarity sharpened. He had a timeline. So would I. The irony wasn't lost on me. I was the one who reminded him, decades ago, to sign the prenup. Back then, my parents' inheritance dwarfed his small startup savings. He'd insisted out of pride, to prove I'm not after your money. That document sat in our safe deposit box, gathering dust for 28 years. Few remember their exact clauses. I did. Especially Section 12, the Fidelity Clause. Proven marital infidelity awarded 70% of joint assets to the innocent spouse.
No expiry.
So, while Gregory rehearsed a public humiliation, I was preparing a legal one. I hired Philip Anderson, a quiet bulldog of a family law attorney. I opened my own discreet accounts. I archived every receipt, text, and unauthorized transfer. And, yes, I scheduled a voice-activated recorder in our home office during his late-night calls with Cassandra. The recording that mattered most was mundane. After graduation, I'll tell her in front of everyone. A public scene kills sympathy lawsuits. And the house. Cassandra asked. Already mine. Well, ours soon. She'll give up quietly. Bianca is too logical to fight. Logic has teeth when she's cornered. I filed for divorce the morning of Amelia's ceremony. Because filings aren't visible until processed, he wouldn't know until those papers reached him, disguised inside that envelope I placed beside his plate. After leaving the restaurant, I drove back through Augusta's oak-lined streets to our colonial on Telfair Street, my favorite house in the world. Columns, wide porch, pale brick warmed by afternoon light. The kind of home tourists photograph during spring tours. Inside, everything screamed continuity. The faint lemon polish on furniture, the ticking grandfather clock I'd inherited from Dad. But in Gregory's closet were 2 suitcases hidden behind garment bags, all ready for his escape. Predictable man. Compulsive about pressed linen. Careless with loyalty. Messages flooded my phone. Friends pretending concern, some clearly fishing for details. Only one earned a reply. Amelia. Me, I'm okay, sweetheart. This isn't your burden. Enjoy your day. We'll talk tonight. She texted back a heartbreak emoji and nothing more. I made tea, opened my laptop, confirmed that Philip's emergency injunction had been filed. Joint accounts frozen, pending review. Gregory's off-book account flagged. Everything locked exactly as planned. 3 hours later, gravel crunched in the driveway. The storm arrived. He burst through the door, hair disheveled, envelope crushed in his fist. You served me divorce papers today, he shouted. At our daughter's graduation. I shut my laptop calmly. I thought it fit your schedule. You wanted to start your new life. I'm just aligning the paperwork. You had no right. I had every right. I cut in. Just as you had the right to choose Cassandra. Color drained from his cheeks. The prenup expired years ago. Any lawyer. Section 12. I interrupted. Fidelity clause. Perpetual. He blinked, mouth open. You remembered that? I drafted the first version. Of course I remembered. His bluster collapsed into something cold and calculating. Bianca, you're being cruel. What about our history? That hit me. For a moment, flashes. His hand in mine after miscarriages. The Charleston anniversary weekend when he carried me across a puddle like an idiot romantic. I swallowed all of it. Our history meant everything to me. That's precisely why this hurts so much. Then I pressed play on my phone, his recorded words about humiliating me publicly. Cassandra's giggle following it. His eyes widened. You recorded me? That's illegal. Not in Georgia. One-party consent. He sank onto the couch, deflated. You've been planning this. Meticulously, I said. As you planned your announcement. I gathered my purse. You have until tomorrow to clear your things. The locks change Monday. When he murmured something about Amelia, that protective anger I hadn't felt in years flared. Don't hide behind her. You didn't think of her when you crafted today's spectacle. His phone buzzed. He groaned. Cassandra again. She's at the apartment, he muttered. The one you leased in both names? I asked. That lease never cleared. Bad credit on your end. Those mysterious transfers looked suspicious to their system. They called the home phone for verification. I helped them decline. He looked as if the air had been punched from his lungs. I left him sitting amid his packed suitcases. His monument to bad timing. Diana's little bungalow smelled of lavender and worn textbooks. English lit professor, lifelong single, always called herself the family's Benedict option. She opened the door before I could knock. I heard, she said, pulling me into a hug. He's out of his mind. Wine was already waiting in the kitchen. I sank into a wooden chair that groaned sympathetically. It wasn't madness, I told her. It was a calculation. Public humiliation to box me in emotionally. She shook her head, half amused, half furious. Greg always loved theater, but this tops anything I've seen even in Shakespeare. What did you put in that envelope? Divorce papers. Asset tracing. The prenup. Diana chuckled darkly. He begged Dad for that prenup. Swore he needed protection. Oh, the irony. My phone rang. Amelia. Mom, she said between shallow breaths. I'm coming over. Honey, you don't need. I'm already in the car. Dad's telling people you've lost your mind. Classic Gregory. Frame the narrative before truth catches up. Let him talk, I said. Facts travel slower, but they arrive stronger. 20 minutes later, Amelia burst through the door, graduation tassels still dangling, mascara streaked. She collapsed into my arms as if gravity had finally found her. Why didn't you tell me? I wanted you to finish strong, to have your day unshadowed. She sniffed. He's the one who ruined it. Diana fetched tissues and another wine glass. For me, not her. Amelia stuck to water. Bit by bit, I laid out the story. The transfers, the affair, the recording. I knew he'd been different, she whispered. I just didn't think this. Then Philip texted. Emergency filing approved. Accounts frozen. I showed her and Diana. Amelia straightened her back. Good. He'll finally learn consequences. Remember, I said gently, he's still your father. Maybe someday, she muttered. When the doorbell rang, Diana's eyebrows rose. Speak of the devil. She returned with Gregory, and Cassandra right behind him, staring at the floor. Gregory's tone was part anger, part desperation. Bianca, unfreeze the accounts. Let's be adults. Amelia stood, my fierce lion cub. Adults? You humiliated Mom at my graduation. Amelia, this doesn't involve you. She laughed sharply. It does when my tuition fund paid for your girlfriend's jewelry. Cassandra winced. Greg, you told me those gifts were reimbursed from the business. The unraveling began right there, in that cozy living room. I kept my voice calm. Funds stay frozen until the hearing in 3 days. Gregory's face reddened. What am I supposed to live on? Your secret account, I answered. Cassandra's head snapped toward him. Secret what? The silence that followed was deliciously painful for him. I think you both should go, Diana said firmly, stepping between Amelia and her father. Gregory tried a last appeal. 28 years, Bianca. That has to mean something. It did, I said, until it meant nothing to you. They left, the echo of the slammed screen door punctuating the end of our marriage more effectively than any gavel. 3 mornings later, rain streaked the courthouse windows. Gregory arrived looking disheveled, accompanied by a too-young associate from a corporate firm clearly unprepared for family law. Judge Marian Holloway, known citywide for her zero tolerance of theatrics, skimmed the documents. "This prenuptial agreement is valid," she declared. Section 18 states duration, for the term of the marriage plus any ensuing legal proceedings. No expiration indicated. His lawyer stammered. She flipped pages. Evidence of undisclosed fund transfers constitutes breach of fiduciary duty. Accounts remain frozen pending discovery. The residential home remains sole property of Mrs. Caldwell under the infidelity clause. Gregory muttered, "This is outrageous." Judge Holloway peered over her glasses. "Mr. Caldwell, I suggest you review what you signed before speaking further." Gavel. Another empire of illusion, filed neatly into case records. Our social circle splintered, predictably. Those who'd whispered behind my back before now called professing loyalty. I answered each curiosity call with one line. "Gregory and I are separating. These things happen." Silence, then scrambling goodbyes. Meanwhile, reality caught Gregory faster than my attorneys could. Contracts dried up, his reputation soured. Cassandra realized the myth of affluent visionary didn't survive asset freezes or bad Yelp reviews about unpaid invoices. Within 2 weeks she left, moved her things out of the short-term rental he'd scraped together. Diana phoned me, unable to hide laughter. She told a friend she didn't sign up for bankruptcy chic. I'll admit I laughed too. Not out of cruelty, out of closure. Freedom looked nothing like I expected. It looked like me in flats, hair pulled back, signing a lease for a tiny office on Broad Street. Caldwell Financial Transitions, my new consultancy, opened quietly 3 months later. Services for women navigating major life changes, divorce, widowhood, retirement. First 2 clients were referrals from my attorney, then 5 more, then 10. By Christmas I needed an assistant, by spring an associate. Amelia visited from Charleston, beaming. "I brag about you all the time," she said. "I just help women read what's already written in numbers," I told her. "No, you teach them not to be afraid of the fine print." She was right. The work healed more than bank accounts. Almost a year later, to the day that would have marked our 29th anniversary, the final hearing convened. Gregory looked smaller, older, the crisp arrogance replaced by resignation. Cassandra's seat behind him was empty. Judge Holloway finalized the division. The Augusta home, mine. 70% of joint investments, mine. His personal account, untouched but meager after attorney fees. The court recognizes the validity of the prenuptial agreement's fidelity clause, she concluded. Case closed. Outside the courthouse steps he stopped me. His voice was almost gentle. "I made a terrible mistake." "Yes," I said. "Any chance we could?" "No." He nodded once. "You deserve happiness, Bianca." For once, truth. Sunlight poured through the larger office I'd just moved into. 2 associates, 1 receptionist. A bulletin board cluttered with thank you notes from clients. "You helped me find my feet. Bianca, because of you, I kept the house and my sanity." Amelia called weekly now, thriving in her marketing job. During one visit she leaned against my doorway, grinning. "You realize," she said, "if Dad had been honest, he might have kept half of everything." I smiled. Honesty's cheaper than lawyers, but greed's a louder salesman. I still keep that envelope, sealed and framed behind my desk. Not out of spite, reminder. Inside contains the documents that ended one life, but unlocked another. Revenge may have ignited it, but reinvention kept it burning. For the first time in decades, every cent, every decision, every breath belongs wholly to me. And that, at last, is worth far more than the house, the accounts, or even the justice itself. Sometimes on humid Augusta nights, I sit on the porch with a book of balance sheets and glass of chilled Riesling. Fireflies pulse in the magnolias. The clock from my father's study ticks slow and sure inside the hallway. People driving past see only a woman reading at dusk. They'll never guess how much history that calm smile hides. How one cream-colored envelope ended a marriage and began a revival. I whisper to the night, not bitterly, not sadly, just acknowledging fact. I've decided to start a new life without you. And then, softly, proud of myself, I did.